Hi everybody, in this video I want to show you a new feature I included in CrochetPARADE, and that's the generation of axially symmetric or cylindrically symmetric figures, similar to what Crochet Lathe does, except here it's integrated within CrochetPARADE and it has a few more options that you can adjust. So let's say you want to create a shape like this, maybe for your amigurumi patterns. So you go here, generate an axially symmetric shape, and you create your own shape by adjusting these nodes. So let me reset. This is your starting point. You can drag these handles here to create, again, different shapes. You can add a point. If you click Shift and drag the handles, you can move both handles together. If you click Control, same thing, except with Shift, you can change one of the lengths, which changes the slope on one side and not the other. So let's say you want to create this shape here. Again. And what you can do is, well, just click Generate, Control Shift, wait a little bit, and voila, you have your shape here. Now, with some of these shapes, you may end up having, well, CrochetPARADE tends to inflate shapes, sometimes a little bit more than they may realistically be able to inflate. So you may want to check on the tension of these stitches. So when you click on the canvas, the three-dimensional canvas here on the right, press S, the S key, and you can see all stitches here are gray, so there is no extra tension in your project. So that's a good verification that probably this is the right shape you're going to get if you crochet and stuff your toy, for example. What are the other options here? So the first option, scatter increases and decreases, may reduce distortions. This has to do with the following. So I just want to show you the cat example from way back when. As you can see, the increases are, you can see an increase here, an increase right there. Let me stop this information box. So how are these increases spread out throughout the project? Well, here in the hat example, they seem to be more or less random, which is fine, but same as for this ball here that I created. But sometimes the increases tend to align. So for example, I don't know if you notice here, the increases are more or less aligned, and I'm actually going to highlight them by selecting, oops, wrong button, the first stitch of every row by doing (0). This is after pressing Ctrl F. Here they are. You can see the increases tend to align here between different rows, and that can cause distortions in your shape. Same thing over here. Some of these increases are aligned. And it depends how much tension you put in when you're doing increases and decreases. So a good idea is to scatter them around so they're not aligned in this way, or these triangles here that you see. These are the increases and decreases on the other side. So that option that I showed you scatters them around. That's how it does. Number of stitches between the green lines. So this tells you how large a project will be between these two green lines. This is 10 stitches of distance. So everything is scaled up accordingly. If you want to go to, let's say, to create a shape like this, you can increase the range which is visible here. Now, I gotta warn you that what you see here in this dialog is not necessarily what you're gonna get in the end. The reason is this: imagine you have this shape here that, yeah, with a wine bottle bottom here. Once you stuff it, I hope you realize this part, this contour here, will not stay sticking down like that. It will actually be pushed up, because stuffing tends to push the project uniformly, unless you do anisotropic stuffing, and then you may be able to produce shapes like that. So that's good in the sense that whatever you you imagine to create and you draw it over here, then CrochetPARADE will tell you how realistic it is to actually get a stuffed toy like that. So here's another example with a sharp edge. I just want to show you what it looks like once you actually generate it. It looks like this. Why does it look like that after you stuff it? Well, because once you stuff it, this part of the curve will bulge out, this part of the curve will be pushed out, and of course in the end you're going to get just this bulge with a handle. Now, to fix this, or rather, if you want some more, well, how can you create this? How can you force your project to look more like what you input here with this sharp corner? Well, one way is to, of course, put some kind of a metal ring, let's say, inside that will cause the edge. Another way is to actually increase the number of increases here that led to this circumference. And I just want to go back to the hat example. As you can see here, there are quite a few more increases. Let me press C for color. You see how here it's the surface is sort of corrugated, it's a wavy. The reason is there are quite a few more increases on the periphery that, so if you imagine you stuffed this hat, this is what you're going to get, a sharper edge. This is the actual project, the Lady Tam O'Shanter. This is where I got the crochet project from. And of course, stitching in the back loops, for example, may cause a sharper edge and so on. So I wanted to be able to add more stitches to the periphery. So to add more stitches to the periphery, then what the shape requires, this is what you can do. Generate axially symmetric figure. And whoops, that's the wrong one. Okay, so I think this is it. You can click on this show curve to adjust number of stitches in the round. Bam. So the default is a flat line. This is the default over here. Nothing. That means you put in the number of stitches in each row, which corresponds to the shape that you see here. But maybe you want to add extra increases. So what do? You just add, you can add points and you can delete points and you can add a little bit more stitches, which immediately causes this curve to pattern up down here. Okay, so you do that, you add extra increases here in the cusp, and you generate the figure, and you immediately get these extra corrugations or extra stitches in the periphery, which now looks like definitely much more, the shape looks much closer to what you intended initially. Now, what happens if you put less stitches? Well, then, of course, this shape will get more of, well, the cusp will be sort of removed. One thing I want to warn you here, if you add those extra stitches, CrochetPARADE may end up overinflating your project. And I'm sorry, I'm clicking around. I'm just trying to find the right project. Okay, so this is with the default settings. Let me show you the tension. So I'm clicking on the canvas here on the right, pressing S, and you can see with red here, I'm showing you stitches that are overstretched, which means this is not as realistic of a rendering as you might expect. So one way to fix it is to add dot inflate to tell the CrochetPARADE how much to inflate your project. So the default is infinity. You can try a value of 1 or 2 or 0.5. I'm pre-rendered these here. So this is a value of 1. And you can see for a value of 1, if I press S, there's only overstretching here for these stitches. And I believe I have one for 0.7, which looks much better. There is almost no overstretching anywhere. So now this looks much more like the curve we inputted here. Over here. Now, let's say you create your shape and you want to be playing around with how many stitches you want to put in and how to vary the thickness, and you want to save your project or save your work for tomorrow. Well, you can always export and import the number of stitches that you've done. Okay, so if you export, it immediately saves. CrochetPARADE axial shape JSON, and you can import that file after that. Resetting it gives you back this generic shape. Now, of course, you can open up the shape, so you can try to create something like the hat that we just saw in the hat example. So something like this. Okay, I'm going to try to do it in real life. I don't know how successful, or real time. I don't know how successful I will be. Okay, so something like this, something like that. Okay, and I want to add extra thickness here. So add point, add point. And something like this. Oops, here there's some issue. There it is. Okay, well, let's try it out. Generate, calculate, and let's see. Not too crazy. There you go. Let me put in some color so you can see it better. Okay, that was a matter of a few clicks, and you already have your project ready. Okay, what else is here? I also included an option to generate spheres for whatever number of stitches you want. So play around, see what you like, what you don't like. One thing I can say is if you generate a bunch of these shapes, let's say for amigurumi patterns, you can create them in separate instances of CrochetPARADE like this, and then you can assemble them. So you can, let's say you can incorporate this shape here. I'm copying it. And the hat shape. Oops. Let me paste it. We need to start a new. This immediately starts a new object that you'll be crocheting. I just pasted this fella. We want to start with a ring. All right, so let me create this. Shift Enter. And voila, we have the two shapes, which we can now move around. I can move this fellow. Let me put in the guiding plane. Okay, I want to bring you closer to, oops, wrong direction. It's a little bit sensitive. And you can rotate them however you want. Let's say you want to stuff this this shape into that shape, whatever you want to do. Now, whoops. Let me remove the guiding plane. All right, so you may want to, when you create, when you attach shapes like that, you might want to use this keyword here, separate of 0. That will reduce distortions to the objects, because the repulsion itself can lead to distortion. So now they're on top of each other, so you can of course move them away from each other by just, well, dragging them around and then rotating them. Okay, so that's it. Happy crocheting, everybody.